All right, everyone. So we are going to do some kind of interesting and actually fun computer vision work today. So let's go ahead and start off with our Einstein, and let's kind of identify some features. So image identify, it's going to take our image of Einstein and it's going to kind of search, what are the different features that it can automatically identify. So let's see. Again, this will take some time. Again, it's automatically running. It's looking through essentially the database and some of the computer vision software that's already built into Mathematica. So you're going to see that for some of these operations, it's going to take a little bit to run as we count. 48 seconds, looking at, again, the repository information. So this is, again, it's a fun feature in Mathematica. Again, you could take an image, you can kind of start to identify features. So there's a list of features essentially that we can go through. You can sub-specify and kind of see, what are you working with. But when you first initially start this up, you're going to have to look at, and it's going to go through the essentially the repository and to see how this works. So this may not be the most scintillating beginning of the video as we wait for it, but again, it rapidly or it exponentially increases in terms of the fun that's going to be had. So bear with me for 25 more seconds as we work through this. So this is a really useful feature again, and you can start to train Mathematica. So you can do machine learning, you can do computer vision, you could establish essentially a set of images and train your program to work on them. So it's actually extremely useful. You can kind of build neural networks as well. And there we go. So it identified Einstein as a person. We could also say, okay, Einstein, what type of word or car is that? Convertible. It's basically saying, what type of car is Einstein? Convertible, hopefully people can see why, with his mouth wide open. So again, very interesting. Image, what type of fruit is Einstein? Watermelon. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Probably the shape of the head and large values, but anyways. I can also find faces in an image. So finding faces in Einstein, good. I can look at, for example, looking at images 1. I can find that value. Oops. So we see our large images. Can we find any faces in this image? Nope. We could also find faces of the little girl that we've been working with previously. And now we can start to do some interesting operations. So I could look and find my faces and then say, give me what is, again, find faces in my image. Find the age, emotion, gender. So we can start to basically look at and find some characteristics of our image. And again, this will take a little bit of time to run, but no worries, we'll be able to find it. So, still thinking. It's looking up each of those times, each of those identifiers. So, age 7, neutral motion, female. Let's look up Einstein. See what we can get there. Emotion, fear, gender, female. Again, we'll see. Again, you can kind of start to see, and you could train this, right? So if we gave it multiple images, it would work much better. I could also find the face and blur the face. So I could blur, or I could just do, for example, 1. So that doesn't blur it at all. If I do, you can even change it to 100. And then you could really blur that image. So I could find the faces, I could blur the faces. I could also start to now, again, like we said, start to train our little Einstein images. So for example, I could import another image where I have Einstein and I have 2 other people there. And I could ask, find the faces, does very good. And I could start to add a string. So guy 1, guy 2, and Einstein. And I could start to develop, again, correlate, face recognize. So this is guy 1, guy 2, and this is Einstein. So I could start to train my function. So I'm training it. I'm saying that face, this face is the Einstein face. So again, I only have 1 image in my sample size, in my repository. So this is going to run. So we're going to let this happen, then we'll come back to this a little bit later and run this function. So I'll see you then. And now we are back and we've got our classifier function. So we could use this classifier function, i.e. we've trained it, right? So if you see this image, that's Einstein. So we could try to see if this, again, one image training will allow us to identify Einstein. Unfortunately, no. But if we take another similar image from this laughing, we get Einstein. Fantastic. We could also see and actually see if there's any kind of notable person, excuse me, in that image. It's another way, again, we had fine features before, right? So looking at age, emotion, gender, those things. And we also asked it, again, what is, just without any kind of, again, identifiers here, but you could do basically image identify, or you could do classify notable person, Einstein. So, excellent. And then you could also see what were the other probable notable person. So we could look at this, look at all the probabilities. We could do a word cloud. And then we can kind of see, well, that was very interesting and strange. But again, it's taking essentially the, not based on the probabilities, but actually we could look at prob. So we could look at what are the probabilities here. Sorry that it's taking a little bit. I want to see. But I think it's doing here by basically probabilities in terms of not the magnitude of probabilities, but by essentially, it was taking a while because I think there's quite a few of them. Actually, here, let's abort this, but let me abort evaluation. Let's do dimensions of prob. Yeah, so there's 1,001. Let's look at dimensions prob. So let's do, for example, a prob. So we could actually sort. So that's reverse sorting. So sort. So let's do sort. Sort greater. I see. So we need to find. So we'd have to actually, to make this word, actually we could do this live right now, so it'll be fun. So let's say I want the first 10 probabilities. So I do I from 1 to 10. And then I probably want the positions of, let's do my select. Position in prob of cell 1. And there we go. See, you got instance of table. Let's do I cell. Here, let's get over here. Interesting. Oops. So instead of key, let's do. Let's see, how can we do? So the original one was sort. Actually, first sort prob. Again, apologies for taking this long, but it'll hopefully be worth it in the end. So this takes a little bit of time to run. But we could see essentially your highest probabilities here. So Albert Einstein, excellent. Louis Armstrong, Steve Martin, again, the Pope. That's actually pretty funny. Bill Murray. And again, I think a lot of it's due to kind of this laughing feature, you know. So it's very interesting, essentially, how they go about doing this. What is going on here? Actually, while that happens, we can look at word cloud. Let's just do abort this evaluation right now. It's still trying to run it. So what we can do is abort evaluation here. I don't want to quit the kernel because then we'll be in trouble. Yeah, let's quit the kernel. This is why you always save Mathematica too as you're working, because now it's not going to. All right, so let's go ahead and do E3 Einstein one more time. Let's look at the classifying here. But anyways, we can see these, and now you can make exact. Here we go. So let's do. Oh, it really doesn't like playing too much of those probabilities. So what we'll do is this. I think we need the key too. There we go. One more time. Let's try this. But we've got the key answer right here. I want to see if we could do so dimensions of prob 1. So yeah, it's giving me some funky things. So prob 1 would be this. So we get 2, 3. Then I need to find the entity. So, for example, I'll go here. Can we do word cloud? I think we need live debugging on this video. So we need to take So let's see how the data looks like. Okay, so for example, we need to pull out select 2. Let's see if we can pull out the exact name. Oops. So for example, cell 1, 2 to cell 1. Let's see if we can do it. Ah, we're getting close. Again, so we could remove, let's see, how can we remove the key? Then we could be done with this. There we go. And now we've got our word cloud. There we go. It's all worth it in the end. So there we go. All right. I will see you all next time. Thanks. Bye.